Welcome to this immersive cinematic journey through the final oracle of the ancient world. Today, we explore the Book of Malachi, a profound dialogue that bridges the gap between eras. We find ourselves in a time of spiritual crossroads where a weary nation questions the nature of divine commitment. Prepare to witness a narrative filled with intensity, raw emotion, and a persistent hope for restoration. Let us step back 25 centuries into the dusty streets of a Jerusalem struggling to find its soul. Our deep exploration begins now, inviting you to engage with a message that resonates across time. Our narrative commences with the physical preservation of these ancient words for countless generations. This sacred volume serves as the primary gateway into the minds of those living after the exile. It captures the complex emotions of a community grappling with the reality of their unfulfilled expectations. Each page represents a layer of history that we are about to peel back with careful reverence. The weight of this chronicle reminds us of the enduring power contained within these prophetic declarations. Notice the intricate textures of the parchment, symbolizing the resilience of a message that refuses to be silenced. This is the foundation of our immersion into the final warnings and promises of the Old Covenant. The journey ahead will challenge our perceptions and deepen our understanding of this historic spiritual struggle. We observe the craftsmanship of the binding, reflecting the high value placed on these words by the scholars of old. Every stroke of ink tells a story of survival against the encroaching shadows of oblivion and indifference. The title stands as a beacon for those seeking clarity in a world of mounting confusion and doubt. Prepare your heart as we unseal the mysteries held within this timeless and majestic record of faith. The light of the candle flickers against the leather, highlighting the age and importance of the document. We are about to enter a world that has been silent for a long time, yet speaks with absolute authority. Let the weight of history settle upon you as we open the first chapter of this ancient mystery. The sun rises over the limestone walls of a city striving to regain its former majesty and glory. Jerusalem in the mid-5th century was a place of daily labor and mounting spiritual indifference for many. People moved through the busy markets, their faces reflecting the weariness of a people whose hope had dimmed. The rebuilt temple stood as a centerpiece of identity, yet the fire within its walls was flickering. There was a palpable tension between the grand promises of the past and the mundane reality of the present. We observe the subtle interactions of the crowd as they navigate the complexities of life in the Levant. This environment provides the crucial backdrop for the sharp and piercing words that Malachi delivered. Every stone and every shadow tells a portion of the story of a nation standing at a crossroads. The atmosphere is heavy with anticipation for a change that seems to be delayed indefinitely for them. Notice the dust dancing in the beams of light that pierce through the narrow alleyways of the capital. The sounds of trade and conversation create a vivid soundscape of a society in a state of transition. We are now fully immersed in the sights and sounds of a people waiting for a sign of divine favor. This is the stage upon which the final dialogue between a creator and his chosen people will unfold. The architecture of the city speaks of a heritage that is both ancient and resilient in the face of adversity. Shadows stretch across the floor, reminding us of the passage of time and the weight of tradition. We walk among the residents, feeling the pulse of a city that is both vibrant and deeply troubled. This is our moment to participate in the historical reality of the post-exilic world. The prophet Malachi opens with a startling declaration of divine love that immediately sparks a sharp dispute. He reminds the people of their unique position and the favor shown to them throughout their long history. Yet the residents of Jerusalem respond with a cynical question, asking how they have been loved in their pain. This back-and-forth dialogue reveals a deep-seated fracture in the relationship between the Creator and the created. The prophet points to the historical fate of their neighbors as a sign of his sovereign commitment. He challenges them to look beyond their current circumstances and recognize the enduring nature of the covenant. The atmosphere is filled with the weight of unrequited devotion and the search for authentic connection. Every accusation serves as a mirror, reflecting the true state of a society that has lost its focus. The struggle for spiritual integrity becomes the central theme of this unfolding prophetic drama for us. We witness the raw honesty of a people who feel forgotten by the very power they once relied on. The visuals of the contrasting landscapes emphasize the choice between inheritance and desolation. We hear the echoes of ancient arguments that still haunt the corridors of modern belief and skepticism. This first encounter sets the tone for a series of confrontations that will strip away all pretenses of piety. The dialogue is not merely historical, it is a live examination of the soul in a state of crisis. We are drawn into the intensity of a love that refuses to be ignored or taken for granted. The landscape itself becomes a character in this story of devotion and rejection across the ages. The mountains of Edom stand as a silent witness to the consequences of a prideful and defiant spirit. Meanwhile, the fields of Jacob remind us of the potential for fruitfulness under the shade of mercy. This is the first movement in a symphony of divine restoration and human restoration. The focus shifts to the religious leaders who were entrusted with the spiritual health of the community. Malachi pulls no punches as he condemns the priests for their negligence and their contempt for the sacred. They have allowed inferior and blemished sacrifices to be brought before the altar with total indifference. This corruption at the top has trickled down into every aspect of the social and moral fabric. The prophet warns that their blessings will be turned into curses if they do not change their hearts. We witness the solemnity of the temple space being undermined by a lack of genuine reverence and fear. The smoke of the incense rises, yet it fails to carry the prayers of a sincere heart upward. This segment highlights the critical importance of leadership and the consequences of widespread spiritual decay. The visual details of the ritual serve to emphasize the magnitude of the deviation from the law. It is a sobering look at how the most sacred duties can become hollow routines without passion. The call for a return to the true spirit of service rings out with startling clarity and force. We see the shadows of the pillars stretching across the stone floor like fingers of a coming judgment. The priests move with a mechanical precision that lacks the warmth of true devotion and sacrificial love. This confrontation exposes the hollow core of a religious system that has lost its connection to the divine. The urgency of the prophet's message is matched only by the silence of the temple's abandoned glory. The prophet now addresses the internal fabric of the community, focusing on the breaking of faith and loyalty. He condemns the practice of discarding marriage covenants and the resulting social instability that follows. Malachi reminds the people that they share a single father and a common origin that demands mutual respect. The betrayal of one's neighbor is seen as a direct offense against the covenant of their ancestors. This part of the narrative brings the prophetic message down to the ground of human relationships. We see the impact of these broken promises on the faces of the families living in the city. The realistic shadows of the domestic courtyards serve as a metaphor for the hidden cracks in society. Every act of disloyalty ripples through the community, weakening the bonds that hold them together. The prophet calls for a return to the integrity that once defined their identity as a people. It is a powerful reminder that spiritual health is reflected in our most intimate and private actions. The scene captures the tension between personal desires and the collective responsibility of a sacred nation. We observe the subtle interactions between neighbors that reveal the true state of the social heart. The call for faithfulness is an echo of the original promise that established the nation in the wilderness. Every broken vow is a step away from the security and peace that the covenant was intended to provide. The domestic sphere becomes the primary battleground for the survival of the community's moral foundations. The people begin to weary the Creator with their complaints about the perceived lack of justice in the world. They ask where the God of justice is as they witness the prosperity of those who ignore the law. Malachi responds with a terrifying promise of a messenger who will prepare the way for the Lord's arrival. This visitation will not be one of comfort for those who have grown complacent in their ways. He will be like a refiner's fire, separating the pure from the dross with absolute precision. The imagery of fire and soap suggests a painful yet necessary process of transformation for the people. The prophet lists the social sins that will be addressed when the divine judge finally appears. It is a moment of profound realization that justice is coming, but it starts with the house of faith. The call for justice is a cry for the restoration of a moral order that has been severely damaged. We stand in the path of a coming fire that will leave only what is true and enduring behind. The dialogue takes a sharp turn toward the practical expression of faith through the act of giving. Malachi accuses the nation of robbing the divine by withholding the tithes and offerings required by law. He challenges them to test the promises of heaven by bringing the full amount into the storehouse. The prophet speaks of windows in the sky being opened to pour out a blessing beyond measure. This part of the message highlights the connection between physical stewardship and spiritual openness for the community. We see the realistic movements of the people as they contribute to the support of the temple. The light in the storehouse symbolizes the abundance that follows a heart of genuine and willing sacrifice. It is a call to move from a mindset of scarcity to one of trust and profound abundance. Every act of stewardship is a declaration that the Creator is the true owner of all that we possess. Let us participate in the joy of a nation that has rediscovered the secret of true prosperity and peace. The final dispute addresses the arrogant words of those who claim that serving the divine is a vain pursuit. They point to the success of the wicked as evidence that loyalty to the covenant is a wasted effort. Yet, amidst this rising tide of cynicism, a small group of those who fear the Lord meet together. Malachi speaks of a book of remembrance being written for those who honor the sacred name in secret. These faithful few are promised to be a special treasure on the day when the distinction is made. We see the contrast between the loud complaints of the crowd and the quiet devotion of the remnant. The whispers of the faithful are recorded in the annals of a history that transcends the current moment. This choice of allegiance defines the future of the nation as it enters a period of long and deep silence. This sixth movement is a celebration of the quiet strength of those who refuse to follow the crowd. The special treasure is being prepared for a day when the true value of every soul will be revealed. As the oracle of Malachi reaches its climax, a stunning vision of the future dawn is presented to us. The prophet speaks of the day that is coming, burning like an oven to consume the arrogant and wicked. Yet for those who fear the name, the Sun of Righteousness shall rise with healing in its wings. This imagery is both a warning of judgment and a beautiful promise of complete restoration. We witness the landscape being transformed by the golden light of a new and glorious morning. The promise of Elijah's return signifies a final attempt to reconcile the generations before the great day. The transition from the shadows of the past to the light of the future is complete in our visuals. We are invited to wait with anticipation for the fulfillment of these powerful and eternal declarations. The promise of healing and restoration remains as a beacon for every generation that seeks the truth. We are the witnesses of a dialogue that has finally reached its powerful and transformative conclusion. We have reached the conclusion of our 15-minute journey through the profound world of Malachi. It has been an honor to guide you through these ancient corridors of thought and spiritual discovery today. We hope this cinematic immersion has provided you with a deeper understanding of this timeless prophetic message. May the insights gained here continue to resonate within your own personal journey and reflections moving forward. Thank you for your presence and your participation in this exploration of our shared human history and faith. Until we meet again to uncover more mysteries of the past, I wish you peace and great wisdom. Goodbye for now, and may your path always be illuminated by the light of truth and understanding forever.